How do businesses that don't have any real background or experience with lead generation go about building their funnel to attract and sell to the clients that they need to survive and thrive? That's the question that I'm going to be answering on today's Systems Wise podcast.
The Systems Wise podcast.
Hello there and welcome to the show. This is Systems Wise, the show about helping small businesses who have the most limited resources to solve some of the challenges that bigger businesses can solve by having bigger teams to address them. Every week I try to answer a question on how we, as solo-owned businesses, can solve some of those challenges that we face when it comes to our sales, marketing, and systems. I'm Gareth Everson, and on today's episode, let's get into this challenge that we face as small business owners about how we generate the leads that we need and then turn them into delighted clients or patients. In the last few episodes, I've been talking about some of the main themes and topics that I cover in my book, Lemonade Plan. And on the last episode, we talked about starting with the end in mind and working towards the reviews, referrals, and repeat sales that we want in our business to help it to thrive long term. Remember, there are two real measures of success for a small business, for an expert-led business. One is our ability to be able to make sustainable profits and make predictable profits so that we can stay in business. And that's a lagging indicator of success. So have we been able to run our business profitably in order that we can keep it running in the long term? The other one is a leading indicator of success. So are we getting the reviews and the testimonials and the positive feedback from people that we work with who are happy to refer us to others or leave us positive reviews so that the market can see that we're doing a good job? And that's a leading indicator of future success. Those are the two key targets that we have in small business, and that's the core premise around the book Lemonade Plan. Lemonade Plan is a summary of the 8 key processes that we can systemize in our business that take us through from generating the leads through to getting those endorsements at the end of our engagements with our clients or patients. And the book starts with this target in mind that we need to be thinking about. Where do we want that relationship to go? And building backwards from what our perfect review would look like. And in the last episode, we talked about those endorsements feeding into what we deliver for our clients and what then our offer looks like that we make to our clients and patients. And if you missed that episode, I'd encourage you to go and listen to that one first before we cover this one, because on today's episode, we're going to be talking about once we've got those things in place where we're geared towards getting that perfect review from our clients or patients, how do we then fill that funnel with the right leads that turn into sales that we can then deliver for those clients and patients? And so today we're talking about those other 4 processes, L, E, M, and N, that go into that, the attractions system and the sales systems in your business. So let's break down those 4 processes one by one. The first one, L, is all about how do we capture leads in our business and how do we generate those leads. So the L stands for leads. And in the book, we hone in on the challenges that a heating engineer called James has with regards to generating the right leads for his business and being in the right place where his target clients are. Generating leads is one of the biggest challenges that any expert-led business has, where your expertise isn't around lead generation or isn't around marketing or sales. If you're looking online for guidance and advice, whether it's YouTube or social media, it's very easy to fall into the trap of following what gurus who are better at this kind of thing are doing in their business. More often than not, though, these people that are excellent at these processes and will talk about these things and lead generation online aren't in the same situation as you or I when we're running our expert-led businesses. For those of us who've started our business built on a core expertise that we have, that we've done throughout our careers and we've helped our clients with, or we've helped in a corporate environment with, and decided to turn that into a business, but where that core skill set, that core expertise isn't lead generation, or it isn't perhaps even anything to do with sales or marketing, we face this challenge, don't we, that we're really good at what we do and we can help our clients or our patients to achieve the objectives that they have, but we don't have this core skill set to fall back on when the referrals dry up, for example, of being able to go and generate leads almost on demand. And so when we're looking online for guidance and advice and pointers or inspiration around how we might make sure that that flow of leads is consistent and is able to happen, of course, what comes up online are these experts, these gurus, who are great at this kind of thing, who don't really have to rely on having positive word of mouth or reviews or referrals in order to be able to build a sustainable working business for them. If their area of expertise is in lead generation, they've always got that to be able to fall back on. And so the guidance and the advice that you'll often see online is very heavily tilted towards businesses that have the time and the capabilities to be able to create landing pages, or to be able to go and generate leads, or to be able to go and build interest by talking about their topics. These lead generation experts never have an issue with generating leads. That just is something that goes with that territory. And yet the online world is heavily tilted towards showing their content more prominently because it's authoritative, it's confident in terms of the way it presents itself and guides you, or thinks it guides you through that process of you being able to generate leads. But if you don't have a background in that, or if you don't have a skill set around knowing what to say and how to say it in order to generate those leads, then it becomes a real challenge. And this is one of the core beliefs that I play out in the book, that for expert-led businesses where our skill set lies outside of sales or marketing, what we should be doing is creating those amazing experiences for our perfect clients that then leads more naturally into those reviews and referrals to others who are like them. And so starting with that end in mind and then working backwards gives us a much clearer position to start from when we are using those limited resources that we have to devote to doing lead generation. So if we know really clearly what our target client is and what their challenges are and what problems that they face, where they are, perhaps physically if you are a physical business, or where they are online in online communities or in different social media channels if you are online only, those are far more predictable and stable start points for you to work from to use the limited resources that you have in your business to be able to go and find those leads and prospects that have the challenges that you're able to help with. And so in the book, when we go through James's story about how he solves his lead capture and lead generation challenges, you'll see through his story how he solves that limited resource challenge that he has, but how he intertwines those things that he knows about his target market and where they are and what they do and the kind of problems and challenges that they face in order to improve the way that he's able to generate and capture those leads. So I'd encourage you to think about lead generation in that sense, especially if you don't have a lead generation background. Think about lead generation and capture in the round of who are we aiming to capture into our world as new leads, and how do they fit with the endorsements that we're looking to get at the end of that relationship, and how do they fit with the offers and how we deliver those offers to them so that they're the right fit for our business. So the book addresses one of the big challenges that we face as expert-led businesses, that the market will happily overcomplicate marketing and what goes into it, all of the different components that have to, in their opinion, come together in order to generate leads in our business. Actually, what's far more valuable than any of those marketing doing activities is knowing and understanding your target client the best, and knowing what keeps them up at night, what problems that they face, and sharing your insights and expertise in how you'd overcome those problems, and sharing that online to trigger those emotions and that action on their part. So then, as we work forward from how we generate and capture those leads, then any expert-led business where you are spending almost all of your time working with your clients and patients needs something that works for them independently of your involvement to manage it, that nurtures through and educates through those leads that you capture into your business. And so this is the E part of the first E part of Lemonade, education. And through a story with Emma, who is our virtual assistant in the book, we learn about some of the challenges that you and I face as expert-led businesses when it comes to our lead education processes. So how do we nurture those leads that we've captured through our process to give them enough insight into what their problems are and how they might start to think about how they address them, to a point that they're ready to sit down with us and have a conversation, a sales meeting with us, to be able to address those things. The book talks about the two biggest mistakes that businesses make when it comes to education-based marketing using email. One of them is what I describe as the one-hit wonder scenario. There's a music theme in the book to describing these three ways that you can do email marketing. And the one-hit wonder scenario is where, when you've requested something, you've downloaded a guide or a checklist or something like that, you'll receive from the business that you've requested that from one email, including the guide, and perhaps maybe one further follow-up email. And that'll be it. They won't follow up any more than that. And there's a full expectation or a misunderstanding on their part that them sending that to you will be enough to turn you from being somebody that's making an inquiry into somebody that's being a client. And all you then see off the back of this one-hit wonder email follow-up is perhaps you might go on to their monthly email newsletter, if indeed they have such a thing, afterwards. But that then leaves you feeling that whilst you've got value from that resource that you've downloaded, perhaps, it leaves you wondering what comes next. And this one-hit wonder approach is, I've used the analogy because it's exactly the same of when you listen to one song from that one band, that one summer that you really like, but you never hear from them again. And that one-hit wonder scenario is something that's really prevalent in small business marketing, especially those small businesses where they're so immersed in doing the do that they forget to follow up with anything beyond that. The second scenario goes slightly beyond the one-hit wonder. And it's what I would describe as, by contrast, the workout playlist. And this scenario comes from experts who've led you to believe that actually when you're following up with somebody that has requested something, you follow up with them maybe every single day for a short period of time and make an offer after. The classic one is that you make an offer after, say, 5 emails or 6 or 7 emails. And this workout playlist is as relentless as if you were at a intensive workout down at the gym for half an hour, just being blasted by your physical trainer who's running the gym session. That's exactly the scenario that you experience with the workout playlist style follow-up email marketing, whereby you'll get email 1 on day 1, you'll get email 2 on day 2, and so on all the way through until the classic is 5 or 7 days beyond that. And you'll just be bombarded every single day, and you'll feel after a few days, if you're anything like me, that it's too much to take in and you can't absorb it and you can't really do anything with it, especially if that person that's sending you those emails is asking you to do or think about things. There's no time, there's no breathing space between those emails for you to think about it or to do anything with it. And so as a result of that, if you haven't done so before the end of that 5 or that 7 day window, you've already started to ignore them or certainly take them less seriously. And then the worst thing about it is that those businesses that have bombarded you for 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever it happens to be, then fall off a cliff. And you don't hear from them again, possibly for weeks or months. And so imagine the impression that that sets with your audience, that you are showing tons of interest, albeit it's automated interest, in them for a short period of time, and then they utterly lose interest in you. That's exactly what you're doing if you are using this workout playlist style, week-long bombarding every single day with your email follow-up marketing. And so then the third scenario, and this is how the book then plays out, the balance that you should be trying to find in your follow-up education-based marketing. We're all busy experts and we're all out there with our clients or our patients or our customers on a day-to-day basis, and we don't really have the time to do follow-up engagement that we'd like to do. And so the recommendation that I leave you with in the book is that in all of our businesses, we should have what I would describe as a greatest hits email sequence. And what a greatest hits email sequence does over a period of about 90 days, sends them a nicely spaced series of emails that not only cover what they've asked for in the first instance, so they might have downloaded that guide or that checklist, your first couple of emails that might span the first week, you might send them 3 emails over the first week, cover what's in that guide or that checklist, and then the remainder of the greatest hits email sequence is all about getting them to think about and challenging them around problems that they might have in their world or their business. And it might relate to that first download that they had. It might also relate to things that you've seen in your clients or patients that also impact that reader. And spacing out our follow-up marketing over that longer period of time helps us to build trust and relatability over a longer period. This is especially valuable for those businesses who go on to have longer relationships with your clients or patients, by which I mean, if you have a relationship with your clients or patients that lasts beyond just a few days or a few weeks, you need to have that position of trust and relatability already in place before they agree to work with you, because they're not just thinking about that first challenge that they have or that first engagement that they have with you, that first day or that first week. They're thinking much longer term before they buy from you. And so if we can cement that level of trust and relatability in our marketing that comes before somebody agrees to work with us, then it's far more likely that that trust and relatability and engagement with us will continue much longer into the future. So try to mirror the relationship that you'd like to build with that client or patient when they become a paying member of your community. Try to build that mirroring relationship into your marketing as well. And that will help you step away from this one-hit wonder or this workout playlist type scenario where you're either one and done or you're relentless with them over a short period of time and expect them to do something that they don't feel naturally inclined to do. So think about this greatest hits email sequence. And as Emma discovers, as she goes through that process and she thinks about her clients' experiences with her before she then drafts her own greatest hits email sequence, you'll be able to relate that into your own business when you read that in the book. So there we've talked about the first two main processes around what happens in your clients or your patients or your customers' journey. So what they experience of you. It's the first time in the book that I've had you reflect in a way where we're thinking about that customer's journey. Everything until now has been about helping you to build that picture in your business of what you want the perfect review to look like, the perfect endorsement, and how do you build towards that by having the right delivery structure to get to those reviews and having the right offer to get there. Let's touch on what happens when somebody has gone through that education-based nurturing. And as I cover in the book, over the course of that 90-day or that 100-day window that you're following up with them with emails, you're going to seed into that conversation that goes on in their mind the invitation to book some time with you. I have a strongly held belief that when we're thinking about taking sales meetings in our business, especially in time-constrained expert-led businesses, that there are too many of us out there who will take meetings with anybody that expresses interest in what we do. And as a result of that, we end up spending time with people who either aren't the right fit for us as a business or aren't at the right stage of their understanding to be able to really buy from us confidently. And so that sales meeting that we have ends up leading to a scenario where we tell ourselves that we're terrible at sales, or we tell ourselves that the leads that we're generating into our business are awful and they're a poor fit, when in actual fact, all we're doing is just meeting with perhaps the wrong people, but definitely at the wrong time and the wrong level of awareness that they have in the challenges that they face and how what we do can address those challenges. And as we see when it comes to talking through that meetings process and how we think about inviting the right people to those meetings and then running those meetings in our business, those sales meetings in our business, we learned through the story of Sarah, who's a business and leadership coach. We learn about how we can better frame who we meet with and how we manage those sales meetings with our sales prospects. And we learn that through Sarah's story in the book. We also learn what we should be doing to be able to bridge that sales meeting into the next steps. So to whom do we make offers? And who are we sending down a different pathway of them learning some more about the challenges that they face? Perhaps even who are we referring to others because they don't fit our delivery model and our offer model? So that's what you'll learn through Sarah's experience in the chapter about running and managing effective sales meeting processes in our business. The fourth of the four processes that I'd like to cover today, and in the space of these two episodes that we've talked about this is the eighth and final process when it comes to Lemonade, is about how we onboard new clients or patients into our business. In my 14 years experience of doing this with clients, how expert-led businesses onboard new clients is undoubtedly the most dangerous point in any client or patient relationship. And it's the process that more businesses get wrong than I think any of the other processes that exist. And the reason is this, that as small businesses, we're geared towards a couple of things, probably three things really. The service that we deliver for our clients, how we generate the leads to get those clients, and how we sell to those clients in the first place. It's those three priorities, focus areas that most small businesses will naturally fall into thinking about the most. Actually, if you think about your customer or your client's experience, though, what they've agreed to do with you by the point in time that they're becoming a new client or a new patient is they, in their mind, has made this commitment to you that they're going to be spending money with you to solve the problems that they have. And it's actually at this point in their mind that they're most nervous, they're most anxious, that the greatest risk involves in their mind that they've made the wrong decision. You might have heard of the phrase buyer's remorse. So how we onboard new clients or patients or customers is one of the most deprioritized areas in any small business, but actually by contrast should be one of the highest priority areas that we devote time and attention to, because that cliff drop between somebody committing to working with us and getting that first experience of what they get from you is the biggest determinant of whether that relationship is going to be successful. And by consequence, the biggest determinant of whether you are likely or not likely to get a review or a referral from that client or patient at the end of that relationship. So thinking through the lens of your customer or client when it comes to onboarding them and giving them that experience that they're expecting to after having a great sales and marketing experience with you in the first place. If they hadn't had that great experience with you, they probably wouldn't be committing to work with you. Are you able to mirror such a positive experience with them when they come on board with you for the first time, when they've committed to spending money with you, or worse still, when they've actually transacted and given you some money to start to help to solve the problems that they have? And through Michael's experiences in his physio practice, we learn in the book about how can we create that bridge that goes from somebody becoming a client or a patient for the first time and them getting some good, positive, and reassuring early results. So on today's episode, I've talked about those four processes: LEMN, leads, education, meetings, and new clients, new patients if you work in a health setting. Through these four processes, you've got the second half of what it takes to build sustainable and predictable growth in your business. There are other elements to all four of these components to your sales and marketing systems, and I'd encourage you to take a look at the book when it comes out, or if you're listening to this later, now that it's available. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Systems Wise podcast. Remember, what we learned today builds more value if there's a plan to take action on it tomorrow. As always, the resources for the episodes on this podcast are available on my website. And if you want to get today's episode notes, go to getsystemswise.com/EP50 and you'll be able to get those resources there. And if when you've listened to today's episode, there are other people that you think might benefit from some of the topics that I cover, please do share episodes on social media, or if you're not happy to do that, but you're happy to leave a review, please leave a review wherever you are listening to or watching this podcast today. I'll see you next time.
The Systems Wise Podcast.